by which you can invest in real estate. When we talk about real estate, I'm sure quite a number of you who are watching this think about land, think about houses. But again, how can we diversify this? How can we approach this as a way, and of course, one of the best ways to invest here in Kenya? I'm joined by one of the great men you know around, one of the developers we have around who has done it, tested and approved by time, and this is none other than one of the gentlemen. Willa, welcome so much, Kenyanji.
Thank you very much.
Introduce yourself and tell these people who you are.
Thank you. As I said, I'm Gidio Kenyanji Getao.
Right.
And I'm the managing director of Wilston Homes. And I'm glad to be part of this. Wilston Homes is a real estate developer who specializes in affordable homes, currently known for bungalows and maisonettes.
Right.
Exactly.
Thank you. Because Kenyanji, I believe you did not start as a developer. You started from somewhere. And many people, and by this you allow me, we take it from the very bottom, where we have people who have the willingness. They may not have the muscle or the capital, but the heart to invest is there. Now, I want us to break down ways by which we can help these people invest in real estate. And one way is, I want us to start from land, from the affordability and also the visibility standing around what you're buying. Maybe you can help us because that's where you started and that's why you are a perfect case study in this. Tell us about real estate investment and one of them being land as an entry point.
It's the dream of each and every person. When they grow up and you're done with school, you started earning and then there's money coming in. Discipline starts there. Actually, there's someone that there's an article I saw in one of the newspapers that says you're supposed to think about land immediately you get your first pay after school. Because it keeps on appreciating.
Right.
It's the only thing that will grow with you financially.
Right.
And in our case, as Wilston Homes, we also started from that aspect. Young as we were back then, our key thing was could we buy RAD, and what about if we buy just RAD? What is the next approach? Because we had passion in changing the story now, from not just buying RAD, but just doing some value additions to this RAD that you're buying. Now we came up with some bit of concept whereby yes, there's RAD, so what next? We had friends that we knew from the beginning who are architects, and now revolving an architect with the RAD. Now there's some imagination, because it's pure imagination, imagination concept whereby there's RAD, there's an imaginable design you can put on that specific RAD. And now what about now arranging the finances, how the financial flow will be?
I want to make it clear and open for you, Mr. Kenyanji. You tell us now that we have touched land as well and as an entry point. Try in a flowing way. Try and break down ways by which these people can get into investing into real estate. Now, having that as a base.
With RAD, when you think about real estate, it's very broad. It's very broad. Actually, you only think on how do you want to get into it. There are people who buy RAD one as an investment for construction in future. There are other people who buy RAD to subdivide and resell it later. There are also those who buy RAD to lease to people who want to do some bit of agriculture. There are also people who buy RAD to start animal farming. So it depends on which approach first and which passion of line of business you are interested in.
And I think it's a mutual benefit kind of an approach, whereby you said someone can buy, subdivide and sell. Absolutely. So you as Kenyanji, as Wilston buys land, subdivides and sells to Robert. For me now, I've bought it for speculation or even for developing. So you have benefited, I have benefited from my side. And you started by saying that this is the only investment that will appreciate financially with me as time goes.
Absolutely.
I think this is an interesting story whereby everybody in the game is a beneficiary.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Now, you based on what you want to use the land, also motivates where to buy and how to buy it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, take it further.
You know, when now it comes to you boil bottom to now the approach into which you want to get into, then that is where now you just have to do a lot of research. One, if you want to build a home, how is the security aspect around the same area? If you want to buy for agriculture, where are the produce going to be fed? Which market is feeding on the produce?
Where is the water?
Where is water as well? You know, if it is areas that experiences a lot of rainfall, there are things you will not do there for agriculture. If it is about housing, how accessible is the areas at the same time when it comes to infrastructure? And again, when now it comes to bit of industrialization, you want to set up an industry, where is the labor force coming from, if it is not a densely populated area? So this, in every venture you get into, you have to do a research on before you engage yourself.
And I hold at that point, because this is where we go wrong at times, and I want to speak on behalf of thousands who are watching this. Before you engage into buying land as a way of investing, maybe you want to advance, maybe develop or do farming, whatever usage you want to have on this land, do a background check and make sure it's corroborating so well with the purpose by which is driving you to buying the same, if I get it right.
Absolutely. The purpose must always guide the plan in future.
Wow. Because contrary to that, you'll end up messing.
Absolutely. You go into, you plug into losses, because again, if for instance, there are areas you can never plant tea. You get the tea plantation. The areas you cannot do that. And the roads and and maybe in flat areas per se, because again, it depends on the amount of rainfall is being received there, the climatic changes that are in that particular area. Assuming again the area you never develop an industry, an area that is sparsely populated, the workforce that you need to work on that particular machines that you have in the same will also not fetch you a good niche in the market. So the main thing that should drive the purpose is the intention that you want to do even after the purchase.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. And I think that point is quite intensive. It has some weight when it comes to land. Land as an entry point, but again, how you invest in that land matters a lot, because it could lead to a loss. At the same time, it could lead to a great benefit based on how you did and conducted your research. And thank you so much, because I think this is an eye-opener, because we are not getting into buying land blindly. We are not getting into this investment without the background check, without knowing what are we really intending to do with this. And I believe, Mr. Kenyanjui, if I'm right, is it proper to check even into future? And maybe speculating 5 years, there is a highway that will come through this place. Take us to the visibility study.
You know, in Kenya, Bona Robert, I know you are a living witness that there are a lot of speculation. Some are genuine, some are not. Sometimes you have to weigh things, even if you're being told there's a super highway, there's a railway line coming in this area. I always say buying before development and infrastructures are into place gives you a better market niche when it comes to disposing the entire thing. Because we've seen from where we've come from, you buy a rad, like buy 3-4 parcels of rad, and when now you want to develop offset 2, you're left with 2, and now develop the money you've offset, you develop what you already have. So in such speculation arouse you or give you a room whereby you're able, even if you're planning to do XYZ, and also it will also give you some income to also improve on whatever already you have at your own disposal. So these speculations are right and are better, because again, you don't just buy rad for purposes of buying. There are things that you have to foresee. 5, 10, 20 years to come, what is the mutual benefit of this area that will increase the market value from whatever it is I bought from to wherever it is that now you want to achieve, and term it as an investment for you. This is where you find people previously own owned a very big chunk of land.
Right.
And eventually, after they realize there's some development coming in future, they start now offsetting on the drive off, there's something coming up. Because also it will imagine how many people bought Turkana with no interest. But the key purpose is there was oil that was being detected. Imagine how many people bought Turkana with no interest. But the key purpose is there was oil that was being detected and that was drilled in that particular
You've taken us quite far, and we are exploring on land in this first segment, and as an entry point to real estate investment. You have mentioned about Gamia 1, and in a nutshell, I want us to tell us the red flags that can maybe make someone to hesitate or to be slow, because unlike Gamia 1 when the oil was there, we have seen people buy a part of Machakos in the name of Konza City is coming. We have seen people buy a lot of land and investing in land in Maimahio, that is in Nakuru County. And this is simply because there is dry port. On the other side, we have the Konza City coming up. But all of a sudden, they are frustrated. What are these things that should raise alarm before someone invests there?
If you buy land, there's no any given day you will sell it lower than you bought it. That is one thing for a fact. So sometimes government planning really takes a little bit of time.
Right.
And when it comes now to the exposure of the market, when it comes to things that the government had planned, even if they will take time, trust you me, there are people who are fast. Every time there's a project coming up, they are the first people to respond. They're also the average people to respond, and also the last people to respond to something. So being a fast does not mean you will not sell to the average person, or alternatively, when that something is coming to actualization, you already there are people now coming. The seeing and believing people. They will come and buy the property at a point of implementation. It would have, you as an investor would have created ample enough value to offset it at that particular point. Sometimes you see people buy land at a very cheaper rate, and by the moment they are disposing it, you're disposing it 10 times you bought it. So for you, I always say land investment, whether it is coming now, whether it is in the future, it is always the right decision.
Wow, thank you very much. So those people who are, there is a bypass that is proposed bypass, proposed bypass, you need to do your research so well, so that at least you get to know if you're taking money from somewhere to invest in land, in the light that there's a bypass coming through there, you need to understand when is it coming, because as he's saying, government projects and government planning may take some time. Don't go away after this short break. We shall be talking more about now housing as another entry into real estate investment.
Did you know you can live in your home in Juja Farm and work in Nairobi CBD? Or are you in the diaspora and looking for a suitable place to build your home? Leeds Property Solutions is making this a reality. With a cash prize of 580,000, own a plot at Leeds Gardens or pay a deposit of 200,000 Kenyan shillings and the balance in 4 months. These plots have ready individual title deeds and only 15 minutes from Thika Superhighway along the newly tarmacked Juja Farm Road. For site visit our office in Ruiru Town or call us on 0792 161 099 or visit our website www.leedsproperty.co.ke. Leeds Property Solutions, your investment pointer. You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. business, farming, tasty Wednesday, fitness Thursday, and feel good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs.
How are you?
Once again, this is the Realtor, a place where we bring it in black and white, just to make sure that you understand the concepts and ways by which you should engage real estate sector in Kenya. Remember, this is one of the fastest growing sectors and at the same time, the best contributing into our economy. So real estate is all what matters when it comes to this show. And welcome so much once again, gentlemen. We thank God for you and we thank you for being here at the same time. And you are taking it point by point on ways by which someone should, should invest in real estate. And I want to remind these people, if you are there and you have any question, just go to the Realtor TV 47 on Facebook. That's our Facebook page. Direct your question there, and without hesitation, we will direct it to the expert and will answer as your questions come through. And thank you so much once again. Now, before we went for the break, we were talking about land as one of the entry points to real estate investment in Kenya, and you have broken it down. Why? Not only just buying land, how we should buy land, what we should consider, and I believe you have your notes. And now I want you to sum up if you have any point about land, and then we get into the other aspect, that is housing, that comes after land, of course.
We were on the speculation aspect. Yes. And actually, how people always say,
right,
risemarwa lipo na kama haripo larger. You know, these are things that most of the people who have privileges in knowing what the government is planning to do. Right. These are the engineers, the planner, the physical planners, yes, even in the national and the county level. These are people who know what is coming where. Right. Is there a bypass going to a certain specific area? Is there a railway extension that, right, is going to a certain specific area? Are there new industrialization setup, like the Consa dream, exactly, for actualization bit of it, which I hear even today, there's a bit of construction already ongoing. Right. So some of these speculations are there, but be certain enough to know what is coming where, so that you can align yourself and, right, your investment with the journey that you're willing to partake.
So the question here, bottom line, would be where and when.
Where and when.
If you answer those two.
If you answer those two, how certain is it? Where and when.
And someone will say, as you started by saying, that there are projections, the government projections rather, that there'll be a road. There's a road that is proposed to, to cut across a certain section, and that sort of, we have seen drive traffic to some places, demand rising day by day. And don't you think that someone who may not literally or basically afford a certain area can be guided by those physical planning proposals and projections?
Robert, I'll take you back, right, and tell you when we started Wilson, for instance. Right. When we started Wilson Homes, we were looking at the metropolitan nature approach of business. So me being a Kenyanjui, I will not be defined like I'm swaying people to a certain particular area. Right. So we thought our first project, we did it around Kagudo Road, right, just slightly before Kamuru town, the Ngodo area. The project was around 49 homes. And in this Kamuru, because it is Kamuru, it is not inclined to a certain particular tribe area. Actually, biggest people who have biggest project in Kamuru are Kisis, for instance. Because why one Kisi come and buy, you will call a number of friends that are homemates, to come in that particular area, so that you will feel some sense of we are still home.
What is coming up so clearly here, we are talking about, the tribal lines as one of things that should guide you when you are buying it, based on the fact that Kenyaji has mentioned that we are known to associate ourselves with where we come from, and that of course becomes a tribal line. Number two, the religion, whether it is acceptable where you are, or you'll be comfortable, as key guidelines to buying a house or to doing a house of your own, Mr. Kenyaji. So with tribal consideration and and a religion consideration, you are good to go.
You're good to go.
Right. Despite the environment.
Despite the environment and anything that comes thereafter, right, you're comfortable. Because again, if we can, the way we as Kenyans have lived in harmony with each other, irrespective of who you are. Nowadays, you're not defined by your second name. People now live in harmony. You get that?
Right.
So those are the key stability of real estate, because again, I don't want to purchase property somewhere tomorrow someone will knock my door and tell you no exit this area. This is not your home place. You get such guidelines are what makes now the warmthness of the industry now becomes aggressive in a bigger.
In the shortest way possible, in a nutshell, just point us the main red flags when one is buying property as to why they should question. Point us to the main red flags.
The only few that I know is one, you have to really do a research.
Right.
You know, because the government also have RAD.
Right.
The government itself have RAD. There are lads that have been earmarked for schools. There are lads that have been earmarked for mosques, churches, all those playground for the society, fabric facility, whichever it is, or hospital, a school, a nursery school, a ECD center, or such lads. You every time you want to buy a property or land anywhere, first things first, must do a search. If it comes clean, there is a registered person in the government survey or large offices, you know you're certain now to proceed with the transaction. Is whomever registered in the large survey, the person is who is selling you that particular thing. And now, you know, we are coming from a very comfortable times right now, because most of these things have already been digitalized.
We can access remotely.
You can do a search at your comfort from where you sit. You need to just log in, submit some credentials, just ascertain whether the RAD block number that you're looking for is it registered under the said person who is willing to dispose it or maybe sell it to you. Those are key guideline factors.
That is on land. Now, take us to a red flag when it comes to our already built house, like what you do as Wilson. The main red flag.
I would say when you're buying a complete house, there's variation essence of it, whereby you can look for government valuers. They are credible. People say that, or even a private valuer. It doesn't cost you much. It's good to pay 50,000, 30,000 to purchase a property of 5 million, 7 million, or 10 million. You understand? Because at that particular point, by the point you're partaking that process, you're quite certain that you're not making blunder, you're not losing money at any given point, or even worst of it, you're not paying money to the wrong people. And that is why you see most people previously had the notion of, if I'm buying through bank, I'm certain. Why? Because bank get thorough when it comes to due diligence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenyaji. For that land, make sure you do the search thoroughly. For the house, make sure you do both the search at the same time, because it's sitting on land. And number two, make sure that you do valuation, not to lose money.
Again, maybe before we live on that. For instance, the history of that area. You know, find ancient people, the commoners, the rockers, to tell you the history of the area.
Exactly. I know you have it, all you have added from the horse's mouth. And thank you so much, Bona Kenyaji. Give us your parting shot, because time is not with us anymore.
I always say we are healing. You know, we attest to the fact that most of these people, our people, have gone through tough times. And for us to heal the nation, we must heal one crant at a time. And with this, now we are ready to commit ourselves. And we've devoted our energy and focus to make sure that we do not just give you houses, but quality, affordable housing. And at the same time, invite them for a handover. If you happen to see it before or even after, come and witness the journey that we've been 4 years down the line and making it successful for people who never believed they could own a home in this Nairobi, for people who thought with the retro that they have, they cannot purchase everything. Everything requires discipline. Like they always say, every aspect of life, you have to approach it with a lot of discipline and actually proper planning of the things that you have to get what you don't have. Wilson Home is committed to make sure that we give you this platform, we work with you through this journey of home ownership without any interruption. And finally, we all celebrate. You get a home, I still remain in business.
Thank you very much. And you have had it once again, and I promised you that I'll be bringing you people who matter and people who are right on ground, people who are hands-on to make sure that you get the best out of the best. And thank you so much for keeping it the Realtor. This is where all matters concerning real estate are taken care of. Once again, direct your question on our Facebook page, The Realtor TV 47. Until